There is no end to the infighting in the Samajwadi Party Parivar even after the fresh rounds of consultations between the warring factions. Mulayam Singh Yadav claimed the national executive meeting of the party called by Ramgopal on the 1st of January was unconstitutional since he had been expelled from the party for 6 years. Akhilesh Yadav had been proclaimed the national president of the party at the meeting called by Ramgopal Yadav. Mulayam, who clarified he still is the party president, seemed to offer an olive branch to son Akhilesh by naming him the chief minister, but sent a clear message by having Amar Singh at his side during the entire press conference. The fresh offensive comes a day before both factions of the Samajwadi Party are to submit affidavits to the Election Commission to prove they enjoy support of majority of the party's elected representatives.
6 वर्षों के लिए 30 दिसंबर 2017 को निष्कासित और दल के संविधान के अनुसार संविधान के अनुसार रामपाल द्वारा 9 जनवरी 2017 को बुलाया गया आदेश फर्जी है। मैं समाजवादी पार्टी का राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हूँ और अखिलेश यादव उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री।
Akhilesh's most staunch supporter Ramgopal Yadav has spoken to India Today and has hit out at Amar Singh.
असल में अमर सिंह और एक आध लोगों ने समाजवादी पार्टी के साथ और नेताजी के साथ जो किया है वो अक्षम्य अपराध है। नेताजी जैसे देश के शानदार नेता को अपमानित करने का काम अगर किया है किसी व्यक्ति ने तो वो है अमर सिंह और एक दो पार्टी में हमारे और लोग हैं, वरना कोई बात ही नहीं थी। एवरीथिंग वाज गोइंग ऑन और सारे लोग जब उनको अब भी नहीं दिखाई पड़ रहा है, नेताजी से कह रहे थे कि सब लोग उनके साथ हैं। अब 10-12 एमएलए रह गए, अब पूरी पार्टी एक बोलेरो गाड़ी में चल जा सकती है उनकी।
Mulayam lawless Amar Singh has been accorded Z category security, causing a huge uproar. The decision of the Union Home Ministry to give Amar Singh the second highest level of security has given his detractors within Akhilesh camp ammunition to accuse him of being hand in gloves with the BJP. Samajwadi Party parliamentarian and Akhilesh supporter Naresh Agarwal has claimed Amar Singh engineered the rift within the Samajwadi Party, and that too at BJP's behest, and now he is being rewarded.
अमर सिंह जी को जिस तरह कैटेगरी दी गई उससे सिद्ध होता हम लोग का आरोप कि भाजपा के एजेंट के रूप में अमर सिंह पार्टी में काम कर रहे हैं, पार्टी को तोड़ना चाहते हैं भाजपा के इशारे पे। ये तो इसी बात से सिद्ध हो गया कि उनको कौन बड़ी भारी थ्रेट थी जो उनको जेड कैटेगरी की सुरक्षा दे दी। हम लोग तो बड़ा साफ जानते हैं कि विवाद की जड़ अमर सिंह है। अगर अमर सिंह जी हट जाएं बीच से तो विवाद अपने आप खत्म।
Petrol pump associations across India have come out in protest of 1% transaction fees levied on cards for fuel. According to reports, two major banks will levy 1% on all credit card transactions and between 0.25% to 1% on debit card transactions from January 9th. In view of merchant fees being charged, all petrol pumps across the nation have decided to stop accepting payment through credit and debit cards. From Monday, ICICI Bank in its official statement has said it is not charging any merchant fees from the petrol pumps on card payments. Tamil Nadu Petroleum Dealers Association has already announced they will not be accepting any e-payments. The petrol pump body stated they do not have any scope to absorb these charges.
HDFC Bank, Axis Bank और ICICI Bank ने नोटिफिकेशन दिया है, एक सर्कुलर इशू किया है जिसमें कि पेट्रोल पंप्स पर 1% का चार्ज टोटल ट्रांजैक्शन पे ग्राहकों को जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन करेंगे वो पंप से रिकवरी होगी। उस रिकवरी के अंदर हमें 1% के जो चार्ज लगाए गए हैं एक्चुअली वो हमारे मार्जिन में इतना स्कोप नहीं है कि हम लोग उसको बेयर कर सकें, हम लोग ले सकें। इसीलिए हम लोगों को ये जो 1% है इसका भरपाई उल्टा बैंक करते थे। पहले हमारी खुद के ऑपरेट करने के लिए बैंक हमें देते थे पैसे और हमें दे रहे हैं पैसे, तो ये बैंकों की नॉलेज में है एडीसी मशीन की। फिर भी एक सर्कुलर आरबीआई के हवाले से बैंकों ने उसको हमें एक नोटिस के माध्यम से भेजा है कि हम लोग आज रात से उसको 1% जो भी ट्रांजेक्शन होगा उसका चार्ज डीलर से या एस्टेब्लिशमेंट से करेंगे।
See, we have decided. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has scripted a blog post analyzing the impact of demonetization. Taking to social media website Facebook, Jaitley said the government had clarity on the move from day one. and had only one goal: to wipe out black money and build an economy that doesn't rely on cash. Jaitley pitched for cashless economy yet again by saying paper currency leads to untraceable payments and funds bribery, corruption, counterfeit currency and terrorism.
ब्लैक मनी के कुछ राजनीतिक पुजारी
political worships of black money.
करप्शन हमारी राजनीति तथा देश, समाज तथा शासन को धीरे धीरे खोखला करता रहा.
The jib came the same day as Finance Minister Arun Jaitley took to the social media to analyze the impact of note ban of what the reality is after 2 months. And following PM's footsteps, Jaitley accused the Congress party of siding with black money by taking a political position on demonetization. Lauding Prime Minister for thinking about the future generations, Jaitley slammed Rahul Gandhi for only thinking of disrupting parliament sessions.
So there's a famous English saying that a politician thinks only of the next election, whereas a statesman thinks about the next generation.
Making the cashless pitch yet again, Jaitley said that paper currency and untraceable payments fund bribery and corruption. Even claimed that cash chaos has finally eased, a claim that opposition refused to buy.
Prime Minister has successfully destroyed this generation. I do not know about the next generation, but what he has done, he has successfully destroyed the life savings of this generation.
It has been 2 months since the Modi government gave the country a shock treatment. And while it still remains to be seen when the scheme will solve India's corruption, one thing is clear: the political verbal duel is not dying anytime soon. Bureau Report, India Today.
Shocker for Mauritius Balasore now. A differently abled man was brutally thrashed by RPF personnel for allegedly stealing a mobile phone. The incident dates back to January 3rd and was caught on camera in this video. The railway cops can be seen mercilessly beating this differently abled man. The cops repeatedly kick and abuse the man, who was left to fend for himself as onlookers watched the incident unfold in front of their eyes. Remember, it was on December 16 when the disability bill was passed by the parliament, which otherwise failed to function constructively. Even Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the decision. The new bill focused on making the country more conducive for differently abled. This is not for the first time the differently abled have been treated in an inhumane manner. Earlier, silver medalist Paralympian Deepa Mehta complained of unacceptable behavior by Vistara Airlines. And not just that, there were reports of Paralympian Aditya Mehta being humiliated at Bengaluru airport when he was forced to take off his prosthetic leg.
जो एलिगेशन आ रहा है वो एलिगेशन के स्पीड में साहब हमको निर्देश दिया है इनकर के लिए इनकर के बाद जो एक्शन होगा.
Now let's listen into Prime Minister Modi's address to the nation after the disability bill was passed.
भाइयों बहनों, आज मुझे इस बात को बताते हुए गर्व और हर्ष की अनुभूति हो रही है कि दिव्यांग जनों पर जिस मिशन को लेकर के मेरी सरकार चली थी, उससे जुड़ा एक बिल संसद में पारित हो गया. इसके लिए मैं लोकसभा और राज्यसभा के सभी सांसदों का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं. हमारे प्रयासों और भरोसों को हमारे दिव्यांग भाई बहनों ने उस वक्त और मजबूती दी जब वे पैरालंपिक्स में 4 मेडल जीत करके ले आए. उन्होंने अपनी इस जीत से न केवल देश का मान बढ़ाया, बल्कि अपनी क्षमता से लोगों को आश्चर्यचकित भी कर दिया.
Bengaluru police have finally arrested the molester who attacked a burqa-clad woman in the city's Kejriwal area. Karnataka Chief Minister has also promised action against the assaulters who have caused mayhem in the IT hub. Even a week after the mass molestation incident in one of the city's most posh area, it's still a challenge for the cops and the authorities to stop the shameful incidents in the city.
A week after mass molestation put Bengaluru to shame, another shocking case of molestation has jarred the national conscience. A young woman molested and assaulted early in the morning. Her stalker followed her to a bus stop in Kejriwal area and attacked her. He pinned her down to the ground and even bit her tongue. The monster has finally been arrested, but more shockingly, he's allegedly the victim's relative.
What he thinks is once she is maligned in such incident, nobody will marry her, and then he will convince his own wife that I will marry her, and then the life will go. That was his plan.
Bengaluru, the country's IT hub, turned horrific on the night of 31st December. When the entire nation was busy welcoming 2017, several Bengalurian women were running for cover from their assaulters in the city's most vibrant space, Brigade Road. Women were molested and groped by miscreants despite the presence of 1,500 police personnel. Even as authorities remain brazen after the horrific incidents, Bengalurians have taken to the streets to send out a strong message to the barbarians in the city. In the wake of the shameful incidents of molestation in the city, Chief Minister Ramgopal has promised strict action against the culprits.
Assaults on women have been viewed very seriously, and government is committed to bring to book the perpetrators of these kinds of heinous crimes.
But is a belated crackdown really the solution? Why has the government allowed these monsters to run amok and then encourage them with their chauvinistic remarks? And more importantly, what does the government plan to do now, so that no other woman has to go through the horrific ordeal again? Bureau Report, India Today.
In a shocking incident from Lucknow, 4 labourers were killed and 6 others were severely injured after a car crashed into a night shelter in the city early this morning. The car, a Hyundai i20, crashed into the night shelter at around 2 a.m. The car was allegedly being driven at high speed when it crashed into the night shelter. 35 labourers were sleeping inside. The 2 young occupants of the car were allegedly drunk when the accident took place. According to the police, the car was being rashly driven at very high speed. The 2 accused have been arrested and an investigation has been launched. Both occupants of the car have been detained by the police and are being questioned.
इसमें अनफॉर्चुनेटली 4 लोगों की मृत्यु हो गई है और करीब 4 लोग ऐसे हैं जो घायल हैं, ट्रॉमा में हैं। कुछ को माइनर इंजरीज हैं जो सिविल हॉस्पिटल में हैं, उसमें भी 2-3-4 लोग हैं और उनका ट्रीटमेंट कराया जा रहा है। इसमें दोनों लड़के पकड़ लिए गए हैं, जो गाड़ी है वो भी पकड़ ली गई है और इसमें एक्सीडेंट का मुकदमा लिखा जा रहा है।
As the power tussle between Lieutenant Governor and Chief Minister Narayanaswamy continues in Puducherry, Kiran Bedi says she will quit the office next year.
Lieutenant Governor versus the Chief Minister. This time down south in Puducherry. As the power tussle between the LG and Chief Minister Narayanaswamy peaks, Kiran Bedi has decided to quit her office next year, well after she completes 2 years in office. In an open letter to fellow Puducherrians, she declared that she will quit from her post on May 29, 2018, when she completes 2 years in Puducherry. The bitter power tussle Bedi and the Congress government broke out after Bedi cancelled the Chief Minister V. Narayanaswamy's circular banning use of social media for official work. Congress MLAs reacted strongly. They urged the Home Minister Rajnath Singh to direct Bedi to abide by the decision taken by the elected government. The political grapevine, however, as the tussle intensifies, it still remains to be seen who report India Today.
In what can be seen as a direct fallout of the mega Supreme Court verdict on the BCCI reforms, the Tamil Nadu Cricket Association has refused to host India versus England under-19 matches in February. Lodha panel, however, has dismissed the TNCA letter as it names disqualified N. Srinivasan as the association president.
Just days after the landmark Supreme Court order on BCCI reforms comes what can be seen as an open act of defiance by a state association. Former BCCI President N. Srinivasan controlled Tamil Nadu Cricket Association sent this letter to the BCCI refusing to host 2 India vs England under-19 matches in February. The reason TNCA says are domestic programs listed for the same period.
Why would you not want to host India versus England, which is an international fixture? Clearly an act of defiance, an act of brazenness, act of determination to try and stall the implementation of the Supreme Court order. And on the 6th to have Mr. Srinivasan's name as precedent is a clear breach of the Supreme Court order. I hope the Lodha committee is listening. I hope they take this into account on the 11th of January in their meeting and then inform the Supreme Court accordingly.
While TNCA's refusal to host the match can be questioned, it remains to be seen if other associations too will follow suit in an attempt to stall reforms. Lodha panel, however, has taken strict objection to N. Srinivasan still being mentioned in the letter as the TNCA president, as he stands disqualified based on age and tenure caps.
That letter has been sent on the letterhead of the TNCA with the office bearers of the TNCA who stand disqualified, then that letter has no authority and should be treated as such by the BCCI.
Meanwhile, the ousted czars of the BCCI, led by Srinivasan and Anurag Thakur, held a secret meeting in Bangalore, which is alleged to have been attended by 24 former officials.
The meeting did not really yield any fruit. I mean, this whole rebellious stance, people are now clearly realizing that it will be an act of contempt, and despite all the open talk about a rebel league, about not cooperating, I don't think any of that will come to fruition. Yes, Tamil Nadu has refused to give grounds, but will they have many followers or many takers? I doubt it.
Lodha panel sources, however, have told India Today that 21 state associations have already written to them accepting to implement the reforms. So the attempt by the old guard to stall the process appears to have fallen flat. Now, all eyes will be on the key Lodha panel meet on the 11th of January, in which they are expected to come up with measures to avoid any further fiascos by ousted BCCI officials. Sports Bureau, India Today.
After Tamil Nadu Cricket Association refusing to host the India vs England under-19 matches, there were reports that Hyderabad Cricket Association too was not willing to host the India vs Bangladesh Test match for 8th of February. But after a conversation with India Today, the HCA President Ashraf Ayub has denied any such report and has also said they are very much willing to host the match. They were looking forward for the funds to be disbursed by the BCCI to host the India-Bangladesh tie. The HCA has already written to BCCI for the disbursement of funds for India vs Bangladesh Test match. After the landmark Supreme Court verdict on January 2nd, in which the Apex Court axed BCCI President Anurag Thakur and Secretary Ajay Shirke, now Lodha panel sources have confirmed most of the state associations have fallen in line. Sources close to Lodha panel said 21 state associations of the BCCI's 20 member have written to Lodha panel accepting and implementing the recommendations and have sought a few clarifications. This after 24 ousted or disqualified members of the cricket body held a private meeting in Bangalore. The meet is said to have been attended by former czars N. Srinivasan and Anurag Thakur in what was supposed to be a show of strength. However, the state units already accepting the reforms, that attempt seems to have fallen flat. And now we leave you with these visuals of snowfall completely covering the Ataturk airport in Istanbul. Turkish Airlines had to cancel hundreds of flights in and out of the city. Snow reached a depth of as much as 16 inches in some outlying areas of Istanbul, and thousands of council personnel worked through the night to keep the roads in the city open.